A word for our listeners. Season 2 of Masks of Nyarlathotep is set in the 1930s and 40s. We will be using terms and sayings from those times, including some that could be considered offensive. It's not our intention to offend. We merely wish to offer as accurate a view of the time period as possible. Welcome to Masks of Nyarlathotep, a Nerds Domain gaming podcast. Join us each week as our investigators uncover the corruption of the mythos in World War II. Starring George Chimples, Rob Walker, Phil Durham, Shirley Niedzwiecki, and Justin Kimmett, with Matt Quiett running the table as keeper. Eldritch evils and crazed Nazi cultists await you just beyond this music. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Nerds Domain Presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. I'm Matt, and I'm here with Phil.
Howdy, howdy.
And Bobby.
I'm having a great time.
I'm glad you're having a good time. And Shirley.
great.
Well, that's because I got upgraded to Bobby.
Hello.
Why? What?
It just that I was letting them get it,
It
out
takes
of
her
their
a while to
system.
recognize who she is.
Yes.
Right. It's because I called her by a weird different name, like Bobby.
Yeah. I
Well,
responded pretty
it
quick.
wasn't an Ev name. Evie, Evelyn.
Flaggle, flaggle, snaggle, flaggle. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Good night.
So a
Where
couple
are you
of
going?
couple of things tonight. We here at the table are trying a couple of new things. First and foremost, we're going to be using music from Sirenscape to play in the background. You can find them at
Every time I see that logo on my Facebook, I'm just like, oh man, that looks like a really cool game. Oh yeah, it just sounds.
So you can find them over on their website. Just search for Sirenscape on Google. It'll come right back, or come right up. The other thing we're using are candles from Epic Advent. Oh man,
Yep, Epic Adventures.
Epic Adventure Candle Company. You can find them on Etsy. We are currently using Dungeon and Ancient Ruins. Ancient Ruins is going to give us a +2 will bonus, which unfortunately does not apply to this game.
Darn it.
Darn it.
No. So we're trying to do a little bit of immersion here. This was suggested and requested by our players. Mostly Rob was more interested at first, and I think everybody got
I don't know
on
any
board.
Robs. There's a Bobby here.
Oh, yeah, Bobby boy.
If you're going to do it, commit to it.
Man, now we just need somebody. We need to go find Ricky to join the podcast.
Oh, quit.
So, between those two things and some lighting that you guys will not notice at all, we may have some stutters and a little bit longer on I can't read that on my sheet moments. So just keep that in mind. Should not be terribly bad. It just may happen. All right, so let's get back into it. You guys have woken up in the Sanatorium, which is a building near the temple, but not the same building as the temple. You feel like you shouldn't have woken up here. And none of your stuff that you would have set down beside you and not wearing is here. So if someone moved you, they didn't move your stuff, but it also is possible that you physically went to the Dreamlands and physically exited the Dreamlands, and that's what put you here.
Is there sand on the ground?
Yes. The building's not closed.
Any footprints?
Give me a spot hidden.
32 under 70.
Okay. You do not see anything. You don't see anything out of the ordinary. Not even your footprint. So it's kind of like you just laid down here.
Cool.
And when I say there's sand, it's not like it's not piled of sand. It's just there's some sand on the
No,
ground.
but you would see
yeah.
if there's a trail of something.
Yeah.
Even if our bodies were dragged or someone carried us. We
You
would
don't see
that.
anything like that.
Okay.
Couple of things. You remember the Duat. You remember the feelings of being there and what it looked like. You remember the experiences you had. You do not remember the rules for the game. It was very clear that they were ephemeral when you were there. They are gone from your mind. You remember playing a game. You can remember what the board looks like. You don't know how it works.
Oh, it's just like my player.
Wow. See, you don't have to be a good role player. You just play yourself.
There you go.
So that's something to keep in mind is that it's very, it's going to be very different for you guys, or for you guys to go back and experience that again. You won't be able to do it again. You do know that the first step is something you all can pass. You're not sure if you can all pass the second step since it's based more on reading the board and a little bit of luck. I mean, you guys don't know that you made a luck roll, but it's clear that it comes down to luck on that game.
Okay. Did we last time? Do you recall? Did I tell them
Nope.
what happened?
You woke up and I ended it. Like
Okay.
literally, that was it. So
shortly after waking up, I will say that I made it past the game because they bounced out of the game, right?
Right.
And explain that I had my quote-unquote heart weighed, and I'll explain how all of that worked or whatever. And then I kind of got to the point where I believed I would have faced Apophis, and I know that we need to weave willow branches together to make chains to have a chance to defeat him, and so I didn't think I could defeat him by myself, and so I exited whatever that place was.
The Duat.
The Duat.
Yeah.
Well,
It is all the Duat.
I just don't know what my character would have said it was. And then I'd probably also be a little questioning my own sanity.
Yeah. It is. The sun has just begun to rise, so it's early morning.
They'd be like, we need our stuff.
It is a little on the cold side too, because deserts at night get cold, but it's not. You're not freezing to death or anything. No hypothermia. Just it's chilly. So what are you guys doing?
Well, we can't make another attempt.
Until night.
Yeah, we should probably get our stuff and
Find somewhere to kind of hunker down.
lay low for the day, rest. We'll have another
Do we
challenging
need to
evening.
weave the chains within the Duat?
Yes, that's where the
Okay.
willow things are going to be.
Oh, as a reminder, the other thing is your guns turned into bows and arrows. So
Do
even
we have-
things that you have your guns now. I'm saying even things you take with you are affected by by you being there. They can change. So
I
keep
don't
that in
have
mind.
that skill.
What guns?
Bow.
No. As we talked about last time, it will go off your whatever
Gotcha.
firearm skill. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just the physical representation was that, and then Rob, your R2D2 knife turned into an old, ancient, cool-looking knife. It is now back to an R2D2 knife.
Kotesh, not a Kotesh. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, it's just a knife.
This
So-
is a knife.
Are you guys heading back over to the temple to get your stuff, and then where from there, or are you going to bunker down there?
So when we came out here, did it look like other people regularly came out here, or was this kind of
No,
just...
this is a site that people haven't been at in a while.
We were in fairly rushed state, though. I mean, we're kind of booking it to get out here first.
No, you
Was
guys
it
were
not?
booking it out here before they realized that the translation they had was bad because they are digging it at a separate site.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, we wanted to be out here first. We
Yeah.
were in a rush state to get out here first because we didn't want to be caught off guard.
Right.
So I think
Do we have supplies to make it for a day or two?
You could you definitely have probably 4 days of food and probably a week's worth of water, give or take, because you know it's the desert and it's not like any of you have spent a lot of time in the desert, so you probably packed a little heavy on the water.
Then we just need to stay here.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to
Until we
go
can
back
go
to
back
town or
in.
anything and like draw more attention to ourselves than we
right.
possibly already have.
Just staying out here and waiting it
Get it-
out in the
Presumably
shade,
get our stuff, and then
and just kind of keep a watch out. Like, make sure no one comes up.
we can take watches. That sounds good. Again, resting because it was a draining experience, I assume.
No, actually, you feel rested.
Oh.
It took all night. Like, I assume you guys drank shortly after the sun went down because it had to be at night, and you woke up with the sun. You feel relatively rested. I mean, as rested as you can be laying on a hard floor.
Remind me where we got whatever we drank.
You were given some lotus petals, and the liquid is made with those by the major domo at Major Blythe.
Aloysius Blythe Manders.
Yeah, it was his major domo that made it for you. You have one more application of that before you'll be out, and you'll need to find more.
For
You
each
know
of
how to
us?
make it. Yeah,
Okay.
you know how to make it.
but you will need to
Take the time.
take the time to go get the pedals.
resources
And it seemed like that the Lotus are not rare, but they're not common either. So it might take a little bit of time to procure enough for what you would want.
Would we recognize it in the wild?
Yes, you would. And you
Then-
could roll natural history if you wanted to figure out where that would grow in the wild. I'd be happy to give you that information.
Happy if we make it.
Ooh, odd 7 under 10.
Wow, look at you mark that box.
Well, I'm marking the heck out of it.
I got a 97, so I definitely don't know anything about natural history.
Turns out that the Frenchman knows about flowers.
Is that pretty bouquet?
You can find them up at the up in the mountains where the Nile comes down from the mountains.
Okay.
How far are we from there?
Well, it's a distance.
Oh, okay.
It might be better to go into town. Well, even back to Cairo is a couple of days away by boat. It might be better to go back to Cairo.
Gotcha.
In that case, I suggest we continue with our plan. If we don't succeed tonight, then we go looking for more of the stuff.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So you guys head back to the temple to get the rest of your stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys pick it up, are kind of hunker down or sit for breakfast. Inside, I assume?
Yeah.
I mean, the sun is going to be harsh.
Yep, we're going to try to stay out of the
Okay.
sun.
I need everybody to give me a listen.
Failed.
Oh my goodness. Even with a skill of 85, I fail when I roll a 95. That's two
Yeah.
90s I've rolled this far
Well,
to start my evening.
Doing great on those dice.
Yeah.
Shirley?
Alphabetical.
HIGKL. Oh, smacks. 61 over 35.
Okay, so nobody hears anything.
Yay. That's safe.
You guys eat your biscuits or whatever you have, the hardtack. You get finished, and you start to hear the sounds of diesel engines.
Well, we were taking watches, right?
Yeah.
So who
You
who
don't
sees that?
see anything from. This would be off in a distance.
All right.
You're starting to hear diesel engines. From the distance, you're hearing them probably have 5 or 10 minutes if it's a vehicle moving quickly. Maybe longer, depending on what it is.
We could beeline into the temple.
I assume you're kind of sitting right at the temple.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to beeline pull our stuff into the temple. We're going to have tracks. That's not good.
So we need to enter the Duat here.
Yes, has to be in this temple.
Okay.
Can I use sneak to clean up our tracks?
Use fieldcraft.
Fuck.
We got out here with a vehicle, yeah?
We didn't walk.
Yeah, I think you either have a car or you have camels or horses.
Whatever it is here. So whoever gets here is probably going to know we're here unless we actively leave.
And if you actively leave, you're probably going down the road they're coming up.
Yeah,
Just an FYI, like that's a thing to consider. The other option is to drive out into the desert,
Yeah,
which is going to be cleared to follow you with. And deserts and cars are not always a good thing to get put together. I'm going to assume you guys drove because that makes the most sense.
Yeah. So, I guess my thought's going to be that we can't logically at this. Assuming the diesel engines are coming here, because there's probably not anywhere else that they're coming.
Yeah, no, unless they're passing by, but that doesn't make sense.
Okay. It's unlikely that we can reasonably hide that we were here, if not here. And if that's the case, then it may be a situation where we want to try to ambush or entrench. If they come in, if they're active, they're people we don't want to be here. I mean, they could just be anybody. I mean, they don't necessarily have to be Nazis looking for us because they figured it out.
I was thinking misdirect is a possibility too.
Drive the car out into the desert in some direction, see if we can sneak our way back.
sneaking back, it's not. I don't think it's really viable considering the terrain.
Okay.
Right. I mean, we're dealing with desert. There's
Right.
not a lot of.
That's fair.
You'll see something even if it's once it's close by will be noticeable. We know where the temple is, right? We know where the entrance is. We know where the temple is. They don't know that. Why? We should be able to use that to our advantage because there's got to be multiple, and there's not one structure.
Yeah, there's
right?
there's several structures here.
Right. So we got about 15 minutes.
You don't know what's coming. You're not sure. It could be as little as 5.
We could go to the sanatorium where we woke up.
We could
Well-
go to the sanatorium. We could.
We should, as much as we can, run around to all of the buildings because it's going to be clear from the tracks that we came to this building.
We're gonna leave.
And we came out of the sanatorium. So any other
Who's
buildings?
got the lightest pack with very little in it? That would be the question.
Well, I imagine, given the time period, the gentlemen are going to be carrying more weight than the lady.
Mm-hmm.
You got any books in there? She didn't bring any books.
She brought a book, but she didn't bring much more than just
Yeah.
a copy of the journal.
Just the
Okay,
journal.
so let's
and-
take the copy of the journal out. Let's take most everything but essential, like a couple essential, like a maybe canteen of water and like a food pack. We're gonna chuck that in the sanatorium.
Okay.
And then footprints, as many as we can, all over to try to redirect.
Okay.
And then, can any of us clear tracks? The
Field
best that
craft
we
would be
can.
the best way to do that, or I think you, Brian, you're the one that has field craft.
Yes.
You're the only one that has field craft, so
Okay.
you would be the one
Espionage
that
wouldn't do it.
No,
You would know that we needed to do it.
yeah,
Not necessarily
yeah.
the best way to do it.
I mean, I might let you use sneak, but it'd be at half.
I think at this point we just do
Not
the best we
bad odds.
can.
Right.
And, yeah.
I need you all 3 to roll luck.
Failed it.
Oh, I failed.
Jeez Louise.
So what I was saying earlier about John joining us is clearly his character needs some luck too.
Right?
Mine's a 50. It's not low.
That ain't high.
It ain't low.
Yeah, it is.
I'm a 45. Yeah, I'm not lucky.
Shirley's the highest at 65.
I'm at 65. I got an 87.
So you guys split off into different areas. The pack gets dropped. Who has the journal? That's kind of important.
Surely.
I would have
Shirley.
kept it.
Yeah.
But it's her pack that they're leaving, so she's just packing that, carrying that itself.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine. How much ammo are you taking out of your bag?
I would take all of my ammo and give it to them.
Okay, so you're distributing your ammo.
Yeah,
between
because
two
the
of them.
only
That's
thing
fine.
we're leaving in that bag is food and water, right?
Ostensibly, yes.
And like
Yeah.
clothing ish.
Yeah.
yeah.
Something to indicate that someone was there in that location,
Yeah.
at least recently.
But
Yeah.
not important things.
Right.
Okay. So you guys start going around to the different areas and working on getting everything set. Who failed luck the worst? Who rolled the highest?
I got an 87 over 65.
73 over 50.
Yeah.
I just got a 59, so.
So, Evelyn or Miss October, we're just gonna keep going with Miss October.
Yep.
You are running around one of the buildings when you see the glint of a mirror, or a what do you call those? The sight of a gun, and you look, and there you can see a Jeep and 2 tanks coming down the
Tanks?
road,
Jeez Louise.
all flying the German flag.
Okay.
Dr. Jones can get out of it, so can we.
I was getting Dr. Jones,
call
no
him
more
Dr. Jones, lady?
parachute.
Proceed.
They are coming towards you. There's, from the sounds of it, there's probably more vehicles behind the 2 tanks, but the tanks, 1, are big.
Right.
And 2, once you see the tanks, you're not looking for a lot more.
Right.
This is when Carlos flies in with his plane and bombs them.
Yes.
Yes.
That's exactly what happens.
Sweet.
Amazing.
However, it's probably very likely that they've seen you.
Running around like a.
Even doesn't matter what you were doing. They're aware that you were there, and they're going to be able to see you.
Because they got a sight on me.
Yeah, well, not even
A
that.
scope.
Just think of it this way: you're in a desert, so it's all this tan, and then there's someone moving around that is not tan. You're going to stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do?
I'm gonna run around to the other side and tell these guys that tanks are coming.
Okay. Give me another listen roll from you. Yeah. Miss October.
It's another 87.
Wow.
Our dice are doing great.
They're super cold.
You
Start
can
off
tell that they're yelling
Right.
something. You cannot tell what they are yelling.
Okay, so my vote now.
Well, hold on. You don't know about this yet.
Oh, I thought you came around and told us.
No. She has to find you guys. Because you're all running around in no set pattern. Because you didn't set a pattern. You said just run around to all the buildings and make it look like people have been here.
Wasn't a good idea.
Those were your plans.
It was a good idea.
It wasn't a bad idea.
Yeah.
So, Shirley, would you roll luck?
If I get
99.
another 87, I'm not recording tonight. 85. Jesus, Mary Joseph. Over 65.
So, where are you headed? Just to look for them, or do you want to head to the middle? What are you doing?
Oy. Well, I'm definitely gonna head back around to the other side, and I know that they're running around. And we said we'd meet back up in the sanatorium. No, that was the decoy place.
Yeah,
So you're going to probably meet back in the temple.
Yeah,
Okay. So you're heading for where?
the temple
Okay.
to see if anybody made it back there.
You get to the temple and you do not see anyone. I need you to roll another listen.
Seriously. Listen.
We've used this skill like 8 times already.
Yeah, I
it's
know.
the same
I
place
don't
every time on your sheet.
memorize it.
I'm just saying it's the same spot.
HIJKL. Why is my listen only at 35? I got 59.
Okay. And then roll luck for me again. Or no, you know what? Don't roll luck. Let's go Constitution times 4. What's your Constitution? Your con.
14.
So 56. What'd you get?
Can we go with luck? Because I got a 58.
Nope. Okay. So as you're coming around the corner to get to the temple, you do hear two voices behind you in German, screaming, "Stop where you are!"
Okay.
Do you stop?
Oh, that thing is like. Do I recognize the voices?
They're German.
No, I meant like, have I spoke with these
No.
people before?
No.
It's not the creepy lady from October.
I'm.
It's not anybody
going-
they've taught. You guys have
I
talked to.
hear them in German. Tell them to stop me where I am.
Yes.
To stop where you are. I keep going.
Okay. You hear the sound of a gunshot and the like the sand kind of in front of you to your right. It kind
Yeah.
of pops up like it's been shot, and you hear in French, "Stop."
Okay, that's one I'll like.
Okay. Are you going to
Stop
put your
and
hands
turn.
up? I take it.
No. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Do you speak French?
So yes, I do. So my question is, we're in Egypt, right?
Yes.
The Germans have no jurisdiction here.
They have guns though.
Well, I don't care about that.
Okay.
I care about like what's the legality.
No,
Because
they're
I'm American
Because
tourist.
Nazis follow the
because-
laws.
Right. I'm an American tourist at a dig site in,
Okay.
in
No, that's fine, that's
Egypt, and why in the hell are they firing on me?
okay. So yes, I get what you're saying. Egypt currently is not in the war, except that they are, and it's questionable on which side they're on. So they are aligned with England and France, which Germany is currently at war with, but they're also their own sovereign country and don't like being aligned with England and France. It's a very, very complicated social situation or political situation. However, you're also in the middle of the desert, hours from police, and German soldiers are firing at you. You can act indignant, but that's only going to get you so far.
Historically, German soldiers have not been very sensitive to your plight.
Also,
Right, they
it
don't
was
care.
illegal when when German retook the Sudetenland. It was illegal when they entered Czechoslovakia.
Or even just the simple fact that if you want to play a tourist, I imagine most tourists, if gunshots start going off near them, they're throwing their hands up and be
Yeah.
like, "Don't kill me."
Yeah. Yep.
They might be pissed, at the people when they, start talking to them and being all indignant if
Right.
they're American or whatever.
I
But they're
said,
still probably
like,
going to be
this
like, "I
is-
don't want to die."
These are the thoughts that are going.
No,
through
that's
my
fine. That's
head.
fine. So you hear in French, turn around, raise your hands.
So I turn around and raise my hands, and I'm like, ask them in French, like, what's going on?
So you see two men, definitely dressed in German uniforms. You don't have that, so we'll skip that. Both of them have rifles. Neither one of them are pointing directly at you. They just have them as, according to the other team, in tuba position or readied position.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we decided. It's like a tuba. They're both walking toward you. Both seem dressed for the desert, like they're in desert garb. And they say, "Who are you? What are you doing here?"
I explained to them that.
Tell me what you explained to them. Let's just give me the words. No, don't just. I explained to them. Tell me.
I'm a tourist.
Where's the rest of your group?
Okay, do I have a really good lie?
It would be under
Persuade.
persuade. It's alphabetical.
Persuade.
The somewhat more important question might be is, does your character believe she's a good liar?
Mine does.
They're around the other side.
The other side of what?
The other side of this building.
Okay. What are you wearing?
I would be wearing like Egyptian
Are you
beige Egyptian cotton from the marketplace.
Are you in like typical like we're gonna go out in the desert and play around gear?
Yeah.
Okay. Is your pistol visible?
No, I gave. I
You
left
gave your
that there
rounds
with
to them. Did you leave your pistol with them as well?
I probably would not have.
Okay, so you probably have a pistol and an extra magazine.
Yeah.
Are you? What kind of pistol do you have? It's on your sheet. You have to look at that.
A lady carrying a pistol in Egypt
Yeah.
at the time would not be abnormal.
It's not.
It's a
because there
normal
are still
carry.
like raiders out here, and like it's not that big of a deal.
I
just asking
have
if you
a
your pistol.
pistol, and then it looks like a .32 revolver.
Okay. What's the
I
pistol's
think.
damage?
No, Ruder.
Ruder?
The German Ruger. Whatever the.
Luger?
It's Reuter. You wrote it.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe not.
Is it a pistol? Is that what it says?
It says a .32.
Okay. So one of the Germans starts approaching you, like and takes his gun out of ready position and reaches out and to take your gun.
I would be like, why are you doing that? There's raiders out here.
The Germans will protect you.
A secondary note, just for you, for your character, it would also look very abnormal for us to be out at any kind of Egyptian dig site without a team of Egyptians that would be working for us. So we are already going to look suspicious.
Right.
Because Commonplace would have had a team of people, of workers that they would have hired to bring out.
Could we have come out before them?
Probably not. We would probably actually have only come out if they had found something. We would have hired people to come out to our location to be digging and looking for us, and we would come to follow up with the intent of seeing what they'd found. Then we take the credit for it and continue the exploration.
So we wouldn't go out there and take a look at something that we might have literary found a, I don't know, clue or something.
I mean,
Possibly, but
you-
probably not.
you could just be looking around.
Yeah.
However, that still is odd. It's just an odd situation. Doesn't mean that can't be what you say is
Right.
going on. It's just odd.
You could play an oddball.
You could. I mean, it would run in your family.
Right. Okay. Okay.
So he takes the pistol,
Mm-hmm.
ejects the magazine, pulls the bullet out of the chamber,
Mm-hmm.
and puts it back in your holster, and then takes your extra magazine. So he
Okay.
basically leaves you with the gun. He didn't want the gun. It's clear that he's disarming you, but leaving you with your own weapon.
That's nice.
And he kind of tucks them away, and then the other guy says, "You could lower your hands. Come with us back to the vehicles.
Why?
We have other teams out looking for the rest of your people. Once we have them all, we'll explain what's going on."
Okay.
His accent is kind of terrible. Like you can understand him, but his accent is kind of terrible, and he's speaking as though he's probably has the reading level of a third grader in French.
Right.
So his French is not great.
Right.
So you're heading back with them?
Oh, I'm walking toward their vehicles.
Okay. Well, in that case, we're going to pop over to the other two gentlemen at the table.
Can we establish something as we
Sure.
do that?
Sure.
Which of the three of us has the Lotus drink?
Well, that's a good question.
As far as I knew, we hadn't gone back in quite yet. We were just getting to that point.
Right,
so
but
it would
you
still be
had-
where we
you-
left it in the temple.
So you were at the temple. You had gotten your food out to eat it.
So we've already gone back to our
Yeah,
stuff.
I assumed that you took your stuff with you when you
Well,
went to
yeah,
go
yeah,
make
yeah,
these
yeah.
tracks. Okay,
But
so
my thought was when we took the Lotus drink to begin with, we would have left it in that room,
I could see that.
and it would have still been in that room.
That's your
unless
guys' call.
somebody had
That
gone
that
to
at
get
least
it.
makes sense. I'd assume you would have left your packs in that room as well. That's why I would have thought. Like you guys went into the room.
To grab the packs. Yeah, okay. Since we did do that. I'm just
So
not trying to
who?
battle semantics, but
No, I get it. I like what you're thinking.
I don't know if there's a logical decision. It could be a D3 to who grabbed it, unless someone, like, I would obviously make sure that we had it, but I wouldn't be like, I'm carrying it.
Well, Shirley's character doesn't have it, so it's one of you two. Would you have thought to pick it up?
you're number 1, I'm number 2.
There you go.
Oh, that's 3, which is divided by 2, so it's 1.
Okay,
So you have it?
Yep,
Okay.
so I have it. Good, that's helpful.
well, Shirley, key roll knowledge.
I know what I would do if
I
I
know
got
what-
caught with it.
I know what I'm going to do with it. Yes.
Okay.
Key roll knowledge for me.
I would be making sure that the Nazis don't get it.
2590.
The two guys that are with you
Mm-hmm.
have the markings of the SS on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just letting you know that you're currently in the hands of the SS.
Also, for another note for you, Shirley, that was your first roll you've passed tonight.
Everybody drink.
I would have.
Wow, that's harsh.
Wait, let me go get the whiskey. I would have passed the other one had you gone with luck.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, he's not.
So, Rob and Phil, can you both roll listen for me?
1.
4.
Wow. Don't forget to mark it.
Dude,
Oh,
that's
it's
already marked.
we haven't advanced in a bit.
I hate you guys.
Sure we did. We advanced right before we started into Egypt.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you both hear a gun go off. You both, because of your rolls and very successful rolls, you know pretty much where it was at. It's between where you would have expected the road to be or where it would be between where the road is and the temple, somewhere in that area. So it's likely that the Germans have fired at something.
Right.
Both of you, can you both roll luck for me?
Just burnt all that, didn't you?
Oh, nope. Ought to.
Jeez.
39 under 50.
Okay, so you guys are you headed that way to check it out?
No.
Nope.
We're not going towards the gun
No. Historically, Phil and I going towards a fight has not paid off. So we have probably learned our lesson at this point that it's not a good idea to run into the fight without strategizing.
Well,
Where are you
but
guys
honestly,
headed?
I need so Blake's going to look for cover to try to assess the situation. And
Have we seen the vehicles
get eyes
already?
on?
No, you have not seen the
Astor.
vehicles.
So we've heard the gunfire. We know they're coming. We haven't seen the vehicles.
Right.
I'm looking to hide in a position where I can observe.
Can
Yep.
you roll? Can you both roll me fieldcraft or sneak, whichever one's appropriate for you?
29 under 78.
Did you fail that one, Phil?
95.
Okay. So you're gonna you find some cover in one of the buildings and kind of give, your 180-degree look. What about you, Rob? Where are you headed? Where's Astor headed? I guess is a better question.
Where were you headed, Phil?
So I hear the gunshot,
Mm-hmm.
cover, and I want to be able to observe the situation, including if I can get eyes on you and any Germans or anything else.
Are there any nice obelisks,
Are
large
you guys
size?
worried about me at all?
Yes, but
Yes,
you're
but if I just run towards your gunshot, then I'm probably going to die.
we covered this. Historically, Phil and I have died every time we've ran into combat blindly
Fine.
or tried to coordinate combat. So we're not good at this. We've learned these lessons, and I'm still not really recovered. So jumping into combat's not the safest thing for me.
And
Yeah.
quite honestly, if it were we were just doing a round of the camp and we hadn't heard diesel engines, sure, I'd come running at a gunshot. But we're already clued in that big
Something
things
is
are coming.
Right.
And so I don't want to just put myself into the same, situation that you're necessarily in.
Is there like a big obelisk around me that I could?
No, I mean you could go inside a building. You could hide behind a building, but there are no obelisks here.
Behind a building, then somewhere that's really. I mean, obviously, I'm good at what I do.
Okay.
So.
It's a couple minutes of you guys waiting to hear if you hear any, or waiting to see if you hear anything else, and you both you both see a set of German soldiers kind of walking around and looking quickly into buildings. They're not going in, but they'll look inside of a building, point their gun in, look through, and then move on to another building. They don't seem to know. They're not following the tracks, but they're clearly noting the tracks around.
All right, you
We
ready
would
for this?
still have tracks. I'm gonna dump out my Lotus drink.
Okay.
When I observe them
Mhm.
hunting around,
Mhm.
whenever I think I have a clean shot, I fire. Because I just see like a pair.
Sure. Roll luck for me.
Only if I see
No,
overwhelming odds,
yeah.
then not. But if I just see a pair, I'm gonna try to snipe them
That's fine.
with my gun. But yeah, you get the idea. That's a 51 over 45.
Okay. You do see a good lineup of a shot. Do you want to take it?
Yeah. But
Okay.
if my character believes it's a good
Yeah. Seems pretty good.
70 under 75 for my shot.
Okay. Roll your damage. It's like 2d6.
No, that's a D10.
Oh, what are you firing?
Webley Foster automatic revolver.
Do you not have a rifle?
No.
Oh, okay.
7 points of damage.
Okay. You hit him, and he goes down. You don't know that you don't think that you killed him, but suddenly being shot when you're not expecting to be shot, it's a little surprising. The other guy drops immediately, pointed in your general direction, and he will be a tougher. I mean, it's not like he has anything between him and you, but he's made himself as small as possible.
Right.
And you can hear the other guy groaning. You see the two guys. One of them drops as you hear a shot go off, and the other one drops, pointing kind of at a building. You're hiding behind a building, right?
Yeah. How close are they to me?
Wherever
Yeah.
it made sense at the time, either inside of a doorway where I could look out, or
Yeah.
if there's a pillar that I can.
What was your
build
question?
vantage.
How close are they to me?
15 yards, 15 meters. Sorry, we're in Egypt.
Okay.
But that doesn't help us with our decks and feet calculations.
Yeah, no,
for
you
our
can't use
characters.
the double, but
No, but I'm thinking, are they facing my direction, or they?
not anymore.
Okay. So I see them turn towards Phil. They don't know
Yeah.
where I'm at.
Right.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
I'm going to pull my gun and wait a second.
Okay. The guy on the ground kind of pats his buddy, and pulls something off of him, and then fires towards in your general direction, Phil.
Yeah.
You're not sure that you've even been seen, but it does strike the building near you. Okay. Not terribly near you. It's probably 3 or 4 feet above you.
Right.
He's firing in a panic, and then he starts. Do you speak German?
Yes, at a 29.
He starts screaming, "Help! Over here! We've been the corporal's been shot."
So we need to establish if I am outside of a building. And
You are
hiding
outside
around-
of a building,
Okay.
kind of around the corner. You can still see them relatively clearly. You're probably with the sun behind you, so it's harder for them to see you. You positioned yourself well.
Okay. If I were to retreat from this position, would I be heading towards the road and where presumably more people are, or away?
Away.
Then I will try to carefully retreat from my position and find another position in which to hunker down.
Roll fieldcraft.
14 under 70.
Oh yeah. You back out pretty easy. What about
If
you,
he
Astor?
gets up,
Oh yeah.
I'll take another shot.
Okay.
But as long as he's prostrate, I'm not.
Oh yeah, are they moving?
He fires another shot again towards the building, but he seems really panicked. It's clear that he's panicked.
Okay, the one that's up,
Yeah. All right. Well, they're both down. The one that's like
the one that's
actively firing.
active-
Yeah.
yeah, the one that's the most not hurt. I'm taking a shot at him,
Okay.
and that's shitballs. That was a.
Are we allowed to say that?
It happens when you roll a double aught.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's a malfunction.
Yeah. Your gun just.
Yeah,
Roll a d6 for me.
Does it make noise?
We'll see.
3.
You got 3 rounds of clearing that. Also, you need to roll luck.
91 over 50.
And it fired. It must have been a bad round.
Oh, good.
What kind of gun are you using? A pistol?
Beretta M34.
It's an automatic.
No.
It's a revolver.
It's just a semi-automatic pistol.
So I'm sorry. By automatic, I meant like it's not a
Yeah.
revolver.
No, it's not a
It is
revolver.
okay. Yeah, it is. Yeah, something bad happened there.
Obviously.
The 2 men, the one guy is kind of moaning. Now that you've fired, the other guy kind of like half rolls and points his gun in your general direction. You see him pick up something ball-ish shaped
Oh, good.
and pull out something with his teeth and throw it in your direction. I need you to roll luck.
I would also like to respond to that when I
Sure.
see that.
Sure.
89 over 50.
Can you roll dodge for me?
You did, for the record, request the most cursed dice for this evening.
I did, 83 over 20.
83 over 20, is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay.
That's what I said.
Um,
I'm going to cinematically die.
no, you're not.
He's going to take the cinematic part away from me. You're just going to die.
You're going to take 4 damage. The grenade falls short just on the other side of the wall, but when it explodes, the wall itself is what hits you.
So this is my 3rd wound, FYI.
Sure, that's fine. You make sure you mark them separately because each one gets its own it gets its own first aid.
Right.
Just FYI. So
think one of
it's
them
not so
is-
much that the grenade hit you. Thank God you would have dead.
Yes.
It's more that it hit the wall and the wall like shrapneled into you, and it's more of a. It's not like little pieces of shrapnel. It's like big chunks of rock just hit you. You were going to respond, Brian?
Yeah, seeing that he is now distracted by something else and someone else, then I'll
Yeah.
fire again.
Go ahead.
A 47 under 75.
That hits.
Do it.
7 points of damage.
Okay. You hit him, and he screams out in pain, and he starts screaming medic.
So we got 2 guts ouchies.
Um,
I got ouchie and a broke gun.
So, Shirley, you have heard a shot, and you start hearing someone in German screaming, "Help! The corporal's been shot, help!"
See, we care. We're creating a distraction.
And the 2 guys keep walking with you, but coming towards you are 4 German soldiers and 15 Egyptians, all carrying rifles. Like, they're not coming towards you, they're like running past you
Right.
towards whatever's going on out there. Can you roll knowledge for me?
What is that?
Or actually roll military doctrine. Yeah, that's the right one.
Yeah, I don't. 54 over 2.
Its base is 5.
This is, yeah, but yeah.
She has a -3 for not looking at it, right?
5.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine. You
54
could have
over
gotten it.
5.
Obviously, one of those is an officer. One of those is Germans. Is
Right.
An officer. You're just not sure which one.
What a damn Germans.
So with all
Buongiorno.
these people running by me,
Mhm.
is that leaving? Like those 2 guys are still with me?
Mm-hmm.
Budge muffins. How far away from the vehicles am I?
You
Are
guys
we-
kind of like crest a little bit of a dune,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see them. They're probably 20 meters away, or 20 meters away, 20 yards.
Drivers are still in them.
There's a driver in the Jeep with a man in a SS uniform, but he seems he doesn't seem like the other military men. Something different about him. Both of the tanks have their hatches open, and there's someone's like out of both of those, and then there are 2 transport trucks behind them. Both have their drivers in them. You can't tell if there's anybody else back there.
So there's 2 transport trucks, a car, and 2 tanks.
That's correct.
And Phil had to fire.
Yeah. That's my character. Like, screw
What
these
did we
guys.
What did we bring out here?
Camels are
5 tanks.
50,000 soldiers, 5 tanks. That sounds about right.
That's our standard,
standard.
accompaniment.
All right.
And a spellcaster.
Also a partridge in a pear tree.
Camels. We brought
Are you like
camels.
thinking and refilling for you, or are you waiting for our shenanigans?
I
to
was
stop?
waiting for you guys to tell me. Like, Shirley asked a question.
Yeah.
You answered.
Oh, I'm
and now
trying-
I'm waiting on Shirley.
Oh, wait.
I just continue with the officers, unless you give me an idea.
Do you want a roll idea?
Sure.
Just because you get an idea doesn't make it a good one.
49 under 80.
I mean, you could like feign a untied shoe or something and maybe take a gun, but that might not be the best idea right now.
No.
Okay. The best thing that might be is to go with them and wait and see how this plays out. You don't. When you were in Egypt or in Cairo, the Noctwolf were not SS.
Right. These guys are SS.
Right. So this isn't the Noctwolf.
Right.
So
These aren't
they
the
don't.
baddest of bad
So they
guys.
don't know. Yeah, the SS are kind of the worst.
Yeah.
They're
But-
worse than
I was
Noctwolf?
like,
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the SS were in charge of like actual concentration camps.
Well, yeah.
So yeah.
They're like the driving force of all the occult study on a whole.
Also, if you remember correctly,
I just figured like Noctwolf from
your
elite somehow.
your character, actually both your characters know, Black Sun is part of the SS. Noctwolf is a separate organization, and they compete sometimes.
okay.
And they're all pretty bad.
I'm just gonna chill and see how things play out.
You hear a couple more shots. There's a grenade explosion, maybe.
What the hell are they doing back there?
I don't know.
Hey,
we don't.
We're not
know.
the B team where they're throwing grenades around everywhere.
I'm just saying, the last time we played, I mowed down an entire elevator full of Nazis.
I haven't heard that one yet.
That
'cause
was
I don't record with
phenomenal.
them.
That was wonderful. Anyway. All right, so back to you two.
Weren't you a vampire in that one? Or a werewolf? Or
Yeah,
both?
it's turned. I mowed down a bunch of people and then started feeding on one of them. It's all bad. It's gotten really
All right.
bad.
All right.
We're in the wrong game.
So you two, both men have been shot. One of them screaming for medic. Both of you give me a listen. Do you both speak German?
I do.
I do. I passed my listen.
I failed my listen.
Okay. Brian, you hear someone yelling in German, and it sounds like, stay where you're at. What's your condition? Stay where you're at.
Okay.
But the guy's just screaming medic. He's clearly like, this is not doing well for him.
Good.
I agree with that sentiment.
So,
We're good at one thing. Killing Nazis.
Brian, are you still backing away? Or are you going to hunker down for a second and wait for them to get distracted again, maybe?
I hear more. I hear people calling out that they're going to support him.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to look for a place where I can potentially hide or be in a very defensible position that they'd
Okay.
have to really storm or assault me.
Okay. What about you, Astor?
Trying to fix my pew pew.
Okay. Are you going to stay right there while you do it?
Probably not.
Okay.
I'm going to try to move to a nearby location if I can get there
Okay.
without
Roll
being seen.
sneak.
Oh, come on, you son of a... 61 under 78.
Okay. So you both back away. As you're kind of backing away, do you guys want to try and meet up? Would you be heading towards the other one in a backing away fashion?
I don't think
No.
so.
Okay.
We would hold like flanking type positions like
Okay.
we're in.
So
I'd rather them get one of us than both of us.
Agreed.
Preferably none of us, but
Right,
let's
right.
be honest.
Astor, you end up in a building that you can see out of. It's not very deep, but you've got yourself in a good corner where it's dark and you can see out. And you end up and you start working on clearing your weapon. Brian, you find yourself at the temple itself. It's the best defensible location. There's only one way in and a lot of pillars to hide behind. A ton of pillars to hide behind. And you did pour out the liquid?
I did.
Okay. You both start hearing a lot of voices outside. You don't necessarily see anyone, although you both see some people like walk by, but not like stop and look inside. And when they walk by, it's like at a brisk, like hustle pace.
Did we establish if we came out here with camels?
You have a vehicle.
Vehicle.
You have a truck of some sort.
Okay.
How long are you guys going to hunker down?
Long enough to clear my gun, at least.
Okay. So 3 rounds go by.
Um,
It has now been 30 seconds.
I guess, to not draw this out any more than it needs to be. If they're walking by and not like briskly or whatever, then I'm not going to, at this point, I'm not going to be trying to draw attention to myself. I'm going to try to lay low. I'm going to try to wait until, probably even night if it gets that long. I don't imagine it will. But his idea would be I'm going to try to hide as long as I can to perhaps night where I can then maybe sneak out and do some reconnaissance or whatever to figure out what the situation is. If people do come in, depending on numbers, put up a little bit of resistance, but once it's clear that he is overwhelmed, he would surrender.
Okay. So,
Because I understand the larger picture, that's probably the direction that we're going. So
Sure.
we have to do all of the shots.
It's about half an hour when Astor, you hear, you see 3 men come and with flashlights and turn and start sweeping the room, and you hear them say in German, "We know someone's here. Go ahead and surrender." And they like sweep across. So it's more like they're probably doing this at each building. But are you listening to the dice?
I am.
But they are sweeping the room with the flashlight. So they're going to eventually see you. Hypothetically, I could roll really, really bad on spot hidden, but it's going to take a flashlight and you in a corner.
I got some pretty good sneak. I got some good hide, too. There's not a whole lot in this room, huh?
Not really. These rooms have probably been plundered decades ago.
How big the window is?
No window, just a door.
Just a door. So, thinking about the layout of the room, I want to be right up on, like, the arch of the door. So the door's right here to the left of me.
Okay.
That's where I ideally want to be, and I want to try to stay as hidden as well as I can, depending on how well they're searching.
They're searching thoroughly. They're going to catch you.
Also, just for the record, that positioning, like you could peek your head around, but otherwise you would not have very much vantage point on what's going on inside.
Yeah, but if I've got a gun up about head level when they walk through the doors, then I might
it's
be
just
setting
one of the-
myself up for a nice hostage situation.
No, I definitely think that, there's kind of the two ways you play it. Like, where I want to be able to see and have information on what's going on outside, or I want to be, they're going to come in here.
They're already on this way. They're already on their way through. They're searching
Yeah.
pretty thoroughly. They've already called out to me. So I think I kind of want to take a hostage. I feel like I want to take a hostage.
Can you roll sanity?
I can. That's what my current sanity is at, right?
Sure.
Failed.
we established that you were not in World War One. You joined the forces afterwards, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You get a flashback of World War One.
Frackin' stupid.
And
Wilkerson.
you remember, as an officer, as a captain even, taking prisoners, but treating them relatively well. Because they had information you wanted, and they weren't necessarily someone worth killing. That's what plays through your head.
Okay. Oh, I also recognize the fact.
Sure. No, I'm telling you what your other part of you remembers
Yes.
going through.
I
That's
also recognize the fact that I watched bad things happen to people I loved.
Oh,
by
yeah,
people
yeah.
that were not SS as far as I knew.
Yeah.
That were just run-of-the-mill soldiers.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and continue down the hostage plan.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
This is a really good idea to me.
Okay. So you're going to wait for them to walk in?
Yeah. As soon as they try
And
to
then
walk through
do
the door,
what?
gun at the head, and the answer is stop.
They're
the gun
gonna-
in that direction.
They do have guns. Do you want to try and knock the gun out of their hand or do something along those lines? Or just leave them armed while you hold the gun at them?
What's your grapple like?
Yeah.
Or close combat? I don't know.
My grapple's not good.
The other option, you have a knife. You might want to put your knife to the guy's throat and then hold your gun at the rest of the people.
That's not a bad idea, actually. I like that the
So
best.
I'm going to have you roll your knife so that you can get your arm around them with the knife, not to necessarily cut them, but to hold them.
Okay.
And then we'll see how it goes from there.
Oh, you guys are assholes. 36 over 33.
You know, it's close enough. We're going to let it go.
Okay.
So you get the knife around this poor guy's neck.
It's the bonus for his good situation.
Can you roll luck?
I mean, I theoretically can, but it comes out bad.
Okay. You realize you have your knife at the throat of an Egyptian.
Oh, damn it.
You pull back and you point your gun at them and you say what?
Stop or he dies. I mean, obviously, I'm going to proceed with this. It's not. How can I course correct at this point?
So the guy kind of that was in the middle puts his hand out to lower the other guy's gun, reaches into his pocket, pulls out a pack of cigarettes, pulls one out, puts it back, lights it, takes a drag, and then offers it to you.
How long has it been since my character has smoked? This is a fair question at this point.
Probably. Oh, you know what? You guys
After
got
breakfast?
interrupted during breakfast. You probably would have smoked right after breakfast. So it's been probably close to an hour.
An hour?
Yeah.
Okay, he can he can avoid that. There's no way to make my gun. click.
Roll. Do you have military doctrine or?
I don't have much military doctrine. What was your or?
Can I see your sheet, Phil? Is there like a institutional lore which you wouldn't have? That wouldn't make any sense. Can you roll straight knowledge?
Okay.
Without any multiplier? Oh, no, knowledge is bigger. Yeah.
94 over 80. Dude, my dice are killing me today. I love it.
You know, it's clear this guy's an officer.
Right.
It's not just your run-of-the-mill, guy. But you're not sure if he's high-ranking or not. It's also kind of dark in here. It's hard to see.
The gun is pointed at him. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna
They're
lower it. And I'm not gonna reach to take the cigarette.
Okay. So after you wait, he offers it to the Egyptian, who reaches out and takes it. And then the officer steps to the side, and the guy behind him pulls his gun and shoots the Egyptian.
What kind of
I saw that.
gun does it go through?
It goes through his head and splatters behind you. Like, it doesn't hit you. The intent wasn't to shoot you. It was to shoot the Egyptian.
I'm not gonna lower my weapon yet.
So now you've got...
I'm gonna
Yeah.
like let go of the Egyptian, but I'm gonna keep the weapon out and point it forward. They haven't said anything
He
yet.
looks at you and he says, Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
What was he speaking in earlier?
He was speaking in German, but he has not had a
Oh.
conversation.
All right, that's fair.
And my Best
When you-
German.
When you said stop or I'll kill him or whatever, what language did you say that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It would have been German.
Okay.
Because I speak good German.
Oh, so then he doesn't ask. He says, "There's been a mistake. Please, we have water."
Don't trust water from Egyptian wells.
Shirley's not even in the room.
I know, she had to step away. Oh, man.
The gig is he just shot an Egyptian worker. I'm not really taking a lot on faith. Does he have a good persuade?
Oh, sure.
Is it? Can we,
Oh,
is
it
a
feels
battle of-
oily and dirty.
Ah,
He rolled your psychology.
where is there? It is 11 over 5.
Okay. He has no interest in killing you in this room, and likely has questions for you and is intrigued by what you could offer him.
Well, obviously.
No, not like, oh, this will be great, but like, yes, this is going to work out great. I love this idea. Like you are some sort of linchpin in some sort of weird plot that he has.
I'm gonna put the gun up to my head and say stop, or I'll shoot.
He doesn't push the other guy's gun down. He takes the gun from him and puts it down. And
Okay.
he hasn't raised. He has a flashlight, but he hasn't pulled a gun. He has no gun in his hand, but he's taken the gun from the other person and put it down.
I have power. I like it. You want to talk?
Yes.
Okay, send your cronies away.
May I send for the professor? Our professor.
No.
Well, she will want to speak with you. She has she'll have the correct questions to ask.
No, I think we should establish some more information between you and I. We need a good dialogue before we send this up.
Sure. Quick question before I send my men away. How many more are there of you out there?
Could be 1, could be 50,000. I'm not going to tell you.
Do you think that the young lady will tell us?
No. She's got nothing.
Okay.
She's a dumb bimbo.
Wow. Can you roll your persuade?
I have a good persuade. 11 under 84.
Okay. He motions. He motions and puts his hand up to stop, and then he motions at the body. And the guy looking white, who keeps his eyes on your eyes the whole time, reaches down, grabs it by the leg, and starts dragging it out.
I don't stop him.
Okay. Would you like to step outside or do this in here?
We're good right where we're at.
Excellent. Well, that is actually a great place for us to pause for the episode. We have great other podcasts. You should listen to those. Talk to you guys next week. And that will do it for us tonight on the Nerds Domain Presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. Remember, you can email us at nerdsdomain@gmail.com or find us over on Facebook and Twitter at facebook.com/nerdsdomain and twitter.com/nerdsdomain. You can also check out our site at nerdsdom.com. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter while you're there. You can head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. We want to thank Passion Nerdly for our music. Don't forget, you can support us at patreon.com/nerdsdomain and check out our shirts at TeePublic.